I'm going to create a new Pro Tools project from scratch so we can see all the things that we need to do when we're setting it up. So the first thing I do is load Pro Tools into the computer's memory. I have it situated on my dock. You may have it in your applications or your program files folder. And I'm using Pro Tools Ultimate. This is the all singing, all dancing version of Pro Tools that I have to make sure I've got absolutely everything for every level of learner. Don't worry if you've just got normal, or vanilla as they call it, Pro Tools. It still works in almost identically. So the first thing we get when we create a new project is this thing called the dashboard. And the dashboard is just where we set the parameters for our project. And these are pretty important because they set a number of aspects, the quality and the name of our project. So the first thing is that name. And you see it comes up here, it says untitled. I'm going to call this PT Demo 1. And underneath there's a couple of options. If I was signed in to my Avid master account, then I'd be able to select collaboration as an option, which means I can share the file, and there's a number of aspects of the file sharing. There's only certain things you'll be allowed to do that with, and certainly Pro Tools Ultimate is one of them, but there's more collaboration available these days. Or we could click and create from template, and there's a number of templates, and that's what these are down here: blues, drum and bass. And they can be very good sometimes, but I like to create my own style of session. Local storage means that the session is going to be stored on the hard drive on this computer, and that's very, very important. So I've selected local storage. Then I'll go down to these 4 parameters here, 2 of which are very important. The first one, file type, is not that important. There are 2 types of file that we can create: a BWF, it used to be called a .wav file, or an EIFF file. They're both audio files. They both have exactly the same quality factors in relation to sample rate and bit depth. So it actually doesn't really matter these days which one of those 2 you choose. It used to matter, but it doesn't now. I/O settings too. We're just going to use the last used I/O settings. We can customize these later on, and there might be a default setting that would be useful. I'm going to show you how to sort that out later on. But the 2 most important factors here are undoubtedly the sample rate and the bit depth. The sample rate I'm selecting is going to be 44.1 kilohertz, and this relates directly to the frequencies that I can actually record. That doesn't mean I can record up to 44.1 thousand hertz. It means I can record up to half of that frequency range, but you'll find more about frequencies and how that works, and what's called the Nyquist theorem in the classroom section. The bit depth relates directly to the amplitude of the wave that can be recorded, basically the volume of the wave. So the higher the bit depth, then the greater the possibility I have of recording higher amplitudes or lower amplitudes. So while CD quality is 16-bit and 44.1 kilohertz, I'm going to record most of the things for this project on 24-bit because later on I can change that down and compress it very slightly, which will have a very, very slight effect on the quality overall, but it's important. So it's best to record at the highest possible quality. I'm not going to select the interleaved option because that would be, that's something I'll discuss with you later on. And I don't need to prompt for location, but you'll notice by default we've got a location here, and I've actually set it to record and put the folder on my desktop so we can see what happens. We can change that. We could by default, normally it's in the documents folder, and we could have chosen that. But like I said, I'm going to show you it creating the file on the desktop over here. As soon as I click on create, whenever we have a blue button, that means we can press return or enter, and it will do that function. So let's just do that. Click there, and you see the folder opened up here on the desktop. If I open up that folder, you can see all the things that are in it. I didn't create all these folders. Pro Tools is very clever and did it all for us. It's all part of the file management system. So if I need to file any of the audio files for this project, I can find them in that folder. If I need to find any of the bounced files later on when I've done mixes, they'll be in there. So, and session file backups is incredibly important. So let's make sure that we've got all of those things available to us. And there they are on the desktop. The next bit is going to be navigating this, which is called the edit window. And we're going to look at that in the next video.